Hey there, Chadi Bazzi here, and welcome to the first episode of the Top Listing Agent Show in 2022. And I wanted to begin this year with a bang. So I brought you guys the president of REDX, Mr. Curtis Fenn. And what we're going to talk about today is anything and everything that is relevant to 2022. 2021 is already behind us. What's it going to take for you to level up right now? What's it going to take for you to set more listing appointments, find more sellers, take more listings, and make this year your best year ever? And I couldn't have thought of a better guest to have to help you do that than Mr. Curtis Fenn. Welcome to the Top Listing Agent Show, my brother.
Thank you so much. It's awesome to be here.
Yeah, so Curtis, I don't think there's anyone that really knows you as good as you know yourself. So I want you to reintroduce yourself to our audience and just tell them how amazing you are.
Well, I have been in this industry for 16 years, sales and marketing for many, many years before that. And I started with REDX 16 years ago. REDX has been around for 18 years. Most people know us as an expired leads company, but we've definitely evolved from that. We do all things seller leads and platform and tools and everything that you need to acquire customers, to find and get customers and grow your business. So we've done a lot out there. And yeah, I unless I call my wife, that's the most self promotion you're going to get from me.
Awesome. Love it, brother. So REDX has been around for 18 years. You've been with us for 16 years. Now, I'm going to give you guys a little plug. I'm going to begin by giving you guys a little plug. And I'm going to say when I think of a company like, REDX, I think of an ATM machine. Like that's exactly what I think about, because you guys give us, the PIN numbers, for the debit card, and we just dial the numbers, and when we get the numbers right, we make money. And one of the reasons I'm super excited about speaking to you today is because I personally, have been in the industry for over 20 years, been on over 30 one-on-one coaching calls with agents from all over the country, of which the majority of them, a big bulk of their business comes as a result of using REDX or the likes of REDX to prospect. One individual that comes to mind right now, she's a REDX client, and she took north of 50 listings in 2021. So we're talking about an average of one listing every single week. So I wanted to bring that up, not only to plug you, but to get to get the attention of the audience, specifically the people that want to increase their production by 1 to 2 deals every single month. I think the conversation today alone can help them increase their production on the listing side by 1 to 2 new listings every single month. And where I want to begin, Curtis, today is talking about like what is different in 2022, going forward, besides the way that we've been doing it. What's changing? What should people be consciously aware of right now so they can make the changes that they need to make in order for them to generate more business this year?
So with all the coaching calls, you know the answer. The answer is what needs to change for them to make more listings is mindset is number one. But we've really jumped in with some research in the last 4 or 5 months here as a company. We're kind of data-driven people. That's not only our product and our core competency, but we really like as a business to dive into the data. And so we've done thousands of surveys. We've done many 60 hours of interviews with different top producing agents and people who are not prospecting, people who are prospecting. There's a lot that's changed. So I'm going to answer your question in 2 parts. One is, what do we see changing in the behaviors of real estate agents, and what is changing in the industry where they need to kind of shift their mindset a little bit, and really shift it back to what we've always known works. But what's happened is, by far, and the listeners on average are going to feel this, we're making more money per transaction than we've ever made ever.
For sure.
Right? The average increase across the country last year is 18% in home values, right? So if you just did the same amount of deals, transactions that you did the year before, you made 20% more income, right? And here's what we keep hearing from hundreds of people over and over. I'm just not putting the effort into blank, you know, whatever got them business and got them to build the foundation of a business that they got to. They're making 20% more, and they're putting 20% less effort into those things that consistently bring them business, right? So that's just a problem, right? That's like how we eat in the holidays, right? Because we're going, well, January I'm going back to the gym, so I'm you know, it's kind of the business equivalent of that. We're like, well, I'm making money, so I'm not going to put any effort into these things that got me to be able to have a database to make money with now, right?
And I want to add to that, Curtis, because like as you're saying, you know, so basically everybody's making more money by default. Okay. Now, the way that I look at it and the way that I train my agents is like, this is opportunity time. This is opportunity time. This simply means that if there were 100 people that are calling the same expires that you're calling, there's 50% of those people are no longer calling, which now you have even an increased 50% more opportunity to do more transactions. So it's all mindset driven. And thank you for sharing that with me, because I want to get everybody even more excited about not becoming one of those people that are saying, oh, my income's gone up by default. Well, God bless you for that. But you know what? Let's go out there and make more money.
Yeah. And the thing is it made 20% more, but if you doubled down, you could have made 100% more. Right. And what does that do for your future? Right. And so, but we're seeing that over and over and over. We're seeing that and along with that, there's excuses. Well, there's just no expireds in my market. Well, yeah, right. There was millions and millions of expired listings across the country in 2021. I know, because we happen to work with expired listings, right? There was opportunity in every single market in the country with expired listings.
Right, and with a service like REDX, can I go back and retrieve old expireds if I wanted to? Say, yeah. Okay, good. Let me tell you why. Because one of my clients, her name is Marilu. That's exactly what we did last year when everybody said, "Hey, there's no expireds." She actually listed, I don't know what the final number was for the year, but I know as of like November, it was like 25 old expireds were converted into listings taken.
Yeah. And we're having a lot of success, not just with old expireds, but really old expireds. People are pulling lists from like 10 years ago, and people have no idea their home values have doubled since then, right? And so the opportunity, and nobody's calling them, right? So if that's your hesitation to compete with expireds, call old ones. So, but it's about, I mean, we're talking about picking up the phone because of the opportunity, and what we're hearing from people is, I'm just picking up the phone less, because there's just not that urgency to do that. And one of the analogies that we keep bringing up with is like, you know, I here's my self promotion here. In the last 6 months, I've lost 25 pounds, and I still got some room to lose here, but I worked hard for that. Right? Went to the gym 5 days a week. I was pretty strict on how I ate. You know, I said no to, I have 6 kids. So, I mean, right there, the amount of candy and treats that comes through the door from school and friends and, you know, but I had to work hard at it. But if there was a pill I could take, which is what everybody wants, and I would just start shedding the weight, would I be as strict with my diet? Would I be as strict with going to the gym every day? Would I, you know, and we've got to be careful that the market right now is fen-phen, right? It's the pill that's making everybody drop weight. And we're like, oh, well, I just don't have to work as hard. But that's going to run out. And if you don't build a foundation for your business, and everybody knows, we're going to talk more and more about prospecting in, you know, throughout this whole episode. But the foundation of any amazing business is your sphere of influence.
Yeah.
And all prospecting is a way to talk to people you don't know, to bring them into your sphere of influence. So eventually they turn into business. It's not just about what listing appointments can I set. It's what relationships can I create that are going to, you know, consistently bring me business for months and years to come. Right. But but we're seeing that in the behavior, and I think it's a very dangerous behavior. Here's another behavior that I think is dangerous because of the market, is people have more money, so they don't want to do, expireds, admittedly, let's use a different lead type as an example. Let's use for sale by owners.
Yeah.
So for sale by owners are a little bit harder to convert than expireds for most people, because they haven't decided they're going to pay a commission yet, right? So you've got to take the list that someone gives you or you find, and you've got to do a little bit of work to turn them into a warm lead, right?
Right.
And people are like, well, I don't want to do that work. I'll just take this extra money I have and I'll go buy Facebook leads. And Facebook leads can be great, right? I'm not saying don't do Facebook leads. I'm saying you got to understand that you're sacrificing an ROT, a return on your time, for an ROI, a return on investment. And if you don't know what that return is, because here's what's happening, people are now spending, $1,000 a month on Facebook ads, and they're going to convert 3% of the leads over a 14-month period, right? That's the last stat that I read for online lead generation. 3% over 14 months. So you're going to invest $12,000 to do a little bit of deals over time, and where you could just spend 30 minutes a day calling. And how many deals is that going to produce in the long run over 14 months? I mean, you just mentioned 2 clients, one over 50 and one 25, right? So it's a dangerous thing it's not a dangerous thing to go invest in other types of lead generation and help and automation and things that require less of your time. It's dangerous to shift your entire business strategy away from what got you to where you're at, thinking that's going to exponential grow you to where you want to get. So it's but people have a little bit of extra money. Yeah. So they're going, well, I'll just stop picking up the phone and talking to people I don't know, and I'll have Facebook do it. Yeah. Well, Facebook is the anti-social network. All of them are. It's not the same as building a relationship. If I only ever, commented on your posts instead of pick up the phone and you and I talk, we wouldn't have a relationship. Yep. And relationships in the end pay out dividends from your sphere of influence, right?
100%. So now, Curtis, one of the things that I love that we're talking about this, because you're absolutely right, man. Everybody's looking for that pill, and it's like, if I could pay Facebook $1,000 or $2,000 or $3,000 a month, and it's gonna spit out certain amount of leads, and I mean, look, there's nothing wrong with that. I got a client that's probably making about $500,000 a year in commissions, strictly, Facebook from Facebook ads. But here's the beauty of it: who's paying for that marketing? The for sale by owners and expireds. Right. So that didn't go away. Right. That didn't go away. So I'm always in the mindset of like, look, I'm an advocate for marketing, but I'm an advocate of getting someone else to pay for your marketing. And there's no one better to pay for it than a for sale by owners and expired. So if you pick up the phone and you make the calls, that should never, ever go away. And that will always keep your profit margins a little bit higher. Awesome. Right. So I think, with those behaviors and things you're doing, people need to really look at what's going on in the marketplace and go, well, and I don't want to get into discussion what we predict is going to happen or not happen in the marketplace. I regardless of what I think is going to happen, I'm crossing my fingers saying, I hope this continues until I'm out of the industry, right? I just want it to keep on going. But we know that whether it's your market or your city or your business, that if you don't put systems in place that create consistency and sustainability in your business, then you are going to be screwed when something happens. And it doesn't need to be a national market crash. It could just be you break your leg, or you get sick, or something happens. But if you have systems in place, your business can be a business and it can be profitable. It can continue to pay. And no matter what the market, nobody can argue that if you have a large sphere of influence, then you can make money.
And if you have a good system around that, and you're following up, and you're working with your sphere of influence, and again, all I'm my if I could leave everybody with this thought, it would be that prospecting, picking up the phone or knocking doors, or however your choice of your medium of reaching out, all you need is a large list of people you don't know that are fairly close to making a real estate decision. And you form relationships. And if you continually bring those relationships into your sphere, then there will be consistent money coming out of it. And that's, every top prospector, sorry to keep going, a pet peeve of mine is you get brand new agents, and they come into the industry and they look at somebody doing massive amounts of transactions. They go to their office, they go, man, that guy's doing 100 deals. And they ask him, how are you doing that? They go, well, my sphere of influence. And these new agents go, oh, well, I guess I'm going to go work by referral only. And they start hitting up their friends and their family. But the reality is the question we should always ask is, what did you do when you were new to build a database large enough that now you're doing 100 deals a year? And more times than not, they'll say, well, I picked up the phone and I talked to 50 contacts a day for 5 years, or 10 years, until I had a database that now now they just come in.
Yep.
So that's, as we look at 2022, sorry, that was a long tangent, but to answer your question, what's changed and what's different is in some ways, nothing has changed from the way that you should look at your business and you should build your business. Tech changes, medium changes. We're seeing less contacts rates than we saw before. You actually have to work a little harder on the phone to get somebody to answer the phone. That actually went way up right as COVID started and isolation, because everybody was like begging for human contact. And now even us extroverts, COVID and the pandemic turned us into introverts, and we're like, oh, I'd rather text than I would. And that's changed. But the principle of building a foundation of relationships in your business has not. And the only way to do that is to talk to people you don't know, so that then you can bring them into the pool of people you do know.
Right. So Curtis, I'm going to get a little bit more specific here. Maybe you can give us some answers based on the data that you collect from, the people that the people that subscribe to your service. I'm thinking right now that I'm a real estate agent. I'm going to pretend I'm an active real estate agent right now. I've either been picking up the phone sporadically here and there, or I've been thinking about picking up the phone. I'm not being consistent, stuff like that. But what I would like to do this year in 2022 is I'd like to increase I'd like to take an extra 1 or 2 listings every single month. What is the first thing I need to do?
Okay. So if you haven't been consistent in prospecting, you should do that. And obviously I have an idea of where you should go get those lists, right? Yeah. So it's REDX.com, but wherever you get the list, maybe you have a relationship with your title company that's giving you farming and neighborhood data. I would say,
get the list. Get the list. It doesn't matter, whether it's from here or there or whatever. So number 1, get the list.
Get a list of people you don't know, right? Yeah. And then I'll even get some advice on that. If you're new to prospecting, and if you're nervous, if your skill set isn't there on the phones, don't start with the expireds. Call just listed, just sold in neighborhoods. Those are always pleasant conversations.
1, get the list. 2, get freaking damn started wherever you're most comfortable.
Yeah, that's right. And I think that would guide the list that you do. And 2, I would say set a small amount of time in the beginning aside. This happens in every, this morning I saw about 10 memes on Instagram of everybody making fun of all the new people at the gym because it's January. Well, we see the same thing in prospecting. January is our biggest month of the year. We sign up more people in the first 3 weeks of January than it's crazy town for my team here at REDX, because everybody's got this New Year's resolutions, but everybody also then goes, I'm going to grind, right? I'm going to start at 8. I'm going to call till 11, right? And what happens is they call 3 people and some guy's like, leave me the F alone. You're the 10th agent that's called me, and they hang up the phone. They're like, okay, I'm not going to do this anymore, right? And if you would just, consistency is better than intensity. So
I like that.
Just do 30 minutes a day. Do 15 minutes. I don't care what it is. Whatever you can tolerate without giving up is what you should do. If you can only tolerate five conversations, only set 5 conversations so that you don't give up, and just commit to do that for 90 days. And here's the worst thing that's going to happen, right? You go 90 calendar days. It's about 60 days you could be on the phone, 5 days a week, making conversations. 60 times, you'd have 300 conversations. And 300 conversations, calling, depending on the list, 300 conversations of people that are pretty close to having, making a real estate decision. And what could you do with 300 conversations? And if you could tolerate more, great. If you could do 10 conversations a day, you're gonna have 600 people. And some people are gonna yell at you, some people are gonna curse you, but you're gonna have a lot of great conversations. So the last thing I would tell people with this, the step-by-step is, in the beginning, you always go for an appointment, because some people are ready to list right now and they're going to connect with you. They're going to love your voice and they're going to list with you, right? Whatever. But there's the more important metric in the beginning is the relationships. How many people am I bringing into my sphere of influence that I'm going to now contact once a quarter? Or how many people am I bringing into my newsletter list that I'm going to drip on them so that they know who I am, right? And out of 600 conversations, if you could get 100 of those that are like, sure, yeah, go ahead and send me your market updates once a month, right? You 6 months later, deals are going to start falling through that pipeline.
That's right.
So they get a list that they're comfortable with. Set a goal of conversations is better than time, really, like 5 conversations a day, because you might have to call, some days you might have to call 100 numbers to get those 5 great conversations, right? Some days you'll call 5, and then just do it consistently.
Got it. And if I could break down the numbers a little bit differently based on your scenario of 5 a day, if we're working 5 days a week, then there will be about 66 working days in a quarter. So that will be 330 contacts. And then if you're looking at just a 2% conversion rate for appointments, which is very doable, then we're talking about 7 listing appointments. And then even if you suck with your listing presentation and you convert 5 of those, then you're taking an extra 3 to 4 listings. See, the key that a lot of people don't understand is they think that inside of the first 100 people they speak to, they're going to hit the jackpot. Look, your first 100 contacts are nothing more than you gathering the data of what you need to work on in order for you to have a better next 100 conversations. Okay. By the time you get to 150, 200 conversations, you're more in flow. You know what the prospect is going to say before they say it. You have a better way of overcoming it. All of a sudden, you're setting more appointments. You're feeling more confident. You're going on more appointments. And then when you get that first listing, then it's like that's when the game really, really, really begins. So I think it would be a great idea if we just say right now, look, guys, if you've never prospected before, starting today, set a new intention, 90 days, just for the next 90 days, like today's, whatever it is, January, whatever you're listening to this, 90 days from now, you're going for a 90-day challenge. During that 90 days, you're going to prospect 66 days. You're going to make a minimum of 5 contacts. You're going to keep track of the contacts that you're making. So we know that you're going to get up to 330. And then I want to know what came out of it for you. 90 days later, I want you to, reach out to me, reach out to Curtis and say, hey, I took on the challenge. I made 330 contacts. I set that many appointments. I've taken that many listings. I made that much money. I want to know what it is for you. But to assist you in doing so, what I want you to do is your first 50 contacts that you're making, Okay, I want you on a sheet of paper. Every time you get off the phone with somebody, I want you to write down the reason why they did not set an appointment with you, because that right there is an indication of a conversation that you need to get better at. And when you identify what that conversation is that you need to get better at and you need assistance with that, you can reach out to Curtis, or you can simply go to toplistingagentgroup.com, which is a private Facebook community I put together for people that want to become top listing agents. And you could in there write down, I talked to this for sale by owner, they said this, how do I overcome it? I will type the answer. Other top agents from all over the country will type the answer for you. We'll give you the resources that you need, etc. And then 90 days later, I promise you, if you are consistent, worst case scenario, and I've seen this over and over and over, Curtis, I'm sure you have too. The key is consistency.
Yes.
You'll get at least one deal.
Yeah. At least one deal. And not just one deal, but you'll fill up your CRM for, who knows how many deals that will become in the long run. Curtis,
I got to stop you right there because listen, we're recording this on what? Friday, January the 7th. Okay. Yep. So I got a woman, she's a REDX client. And Monday, because what we do in my listings on demand training is Monday we prospect together, me and my group, we prospect together. She called up one person that gave her 6 listings. 5 of them were, 5 condos next to each other. And one of them was a different property. 6 listings from one freaking damn phone call. So, yeah, so at least one new listing somewhere
right.
the next
time. Right. Yep, and I think we have some resources that go along with that. If I could, if you choose to get a list from us, we have a resource for all of our customers, especially if you're new to prospecting. You may not even know about this. This is underutilized, it's probably undermarketed because it's free to our customers. We have an entire role play system.
That's right.
So you get a number when you sign up. You can call that number, and it just goes through. It says, what kind of listings do you want to practice today? And you'll say, well, I want to practice for sale by owners. It goes, great. Do you want this to be a easy, moderate or difficult role play? And always choose difficult, right? Because that means they're going to throw more and harder objections at you. And then what happens, they'll say, it gives some instructions, says stay in character. The phone rings and somebody answers. And they will stay in character. They're my staff here. They stay in character. If you try to break character, they'll even be like, I don't know what you're talking about. What? Like, they stay in character. You go for the appointment. They'll give some feedback on maybe what you could do better, but they're not coaches, so it's not about the feedback. But here's what you can do. You hit a button, it will text you a recording of that role play.
Wow.
And you could go upload that to the group and get some feedback from other top prospecting agents on what you could do better to enhance your script, so that when you get on the phone with live real people, that you're that much farther ahead.
I love it. You're absolutely right, man. That is like an underutilized feature. I'd be all over that because I'd want the feedback for what am I doing that I shouldn't be doing? What am I not doing that I should be doing? What do I need to stop doing? What do I need to get better at? So you're absolutely right, underutilized. I mean, that right there just sold me on why I need a service like yours, not just the numbers.
Yeah. So, and then, we should talk more about your live prospecting on Monday. We should open that up to the public.
Here's the killer part about it, Curtis, is that the way that we do it is everybody's muted, okay? And everybody's calling, but when they get somebody live on the call, they unmute.
So everybody can hear.
Yeah, so everyone can hear. And I want to listen to both sides of the conversation because in the chat, I'm coaching the clients on what to say to get the appointments. And that's why they're setting the appointments because, a lot of times when you're in that moment, you get off the phone, you're like, why didn't I say that? Well, I'm like the voice in your ear telling you to say this.
I love it.
I love it. It's made we change a lot of lives by doing that in our coaching program.
That's awesome.
Right, we talk to the person that's not making the calls. Now, if you are a person that's already making the calls for the next 90 days, I want you to increase the amount of calls that you're making every single day by just 5.
Yep.
just by 5. Okay.
Yep.
And then see exactly what happens 90 days from now.
Yep.
Now,
I have something for people who are already calling.
yeah.
It could be time that you add a new lead type into your prospecting lead stack, is what we call that. So if you're just an expireds guy, great. Call for vacant rental properties, because a lot of landlords out there don't want to deal with tenants anymore, and they're ready to list, right? And we can get those lists for you. Call people who have had a notice of default filed on them, because there's no such thing as a short sale anymore, because everybody has equity, right? So they're easy listings. So if you're already calling and you want to try to increase or optimize your prospecting time, maybe experiment with some new lead types.
Okay, so how many different lead types do I have access to through REDX? We got expireds, we got for sale by owners, we got
for rent by owners, which are the vacant rental listings.
Okay.
So we've got for rent by owners, the pre-foreclosure data, and then the geo leads, the neighborhood data, which in that one, you could be using that for just listed, just sold. You could be calling to invite people to an open house. You could be canvassing a geographic farm to make sure you're top of mind. There's a few there. And then the expireds, depending on where you're at, canceled, withdrawn, and to increase the amount of leads in your area. So,
got it. Yep. And just so I can learn a little bit more about for our audience to learn a little bit more about REDX. REDX also, they have the capability of adding a dialer, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it comes with the whole platform, a lead management platform, because you may not want to take 3,000 leads and stick them into your CRM. CRM should be people that you're building a relationship with. So you can manage the leads and prospect in the platform with the dialer, and there's email. You can get email addresses on the lead types if you wanted to, so you could use email, and yeah.
Awesome. All right. And just curious, through using the dialer, if someone doesn't pick up the phone, does it drop a voicemail on my behalf?
Yep, you can do a voicemail drop.
Okay. Uh-huh. I love it. So basically, the software is going to do some of the work, for me as well.
A lot of the work.
And
the dialer. A lot of people are worried about the dialer because of the speed, and you can kind of set the speed. You could set the speed slower so that it pauses every time that you need to do something. The benefit of a dialer, it does help you contact more people in less time. But even if you get rid of that, the benefit of a dialer is the accountability you have, that once you hit go, you're going through that list of 50 people or whatever, and you're not stopping. When you're using your phone and you're dialing and you do this and you hang up the phone and then you go fill up your coffee and you do this. But when you put a headset on and connect it to your computer and you hit go, you're going to get those 5 conversations without a whole bunch of distraction around you, because I promise, all of the voice in our head is telling you this is stupid. This is a waste of time. Like anything that's worth doing, we got this dumb voice in our head that's trying to convince us not to do it.
Exactly. Curtis, obviously, you're around agents all over the country, just like myself, etc. I'm just curious to know, is there a question that I should have asked you today that I did not ask you that I need to ask you so we can get the answer across to our audience?
That's a pretty good question. I don't think so. I think we covered the thing that I get most passionate about, which is talking to people you don't know, bringing them in, giving people a plan for this year. The only thing I don't know what the question is, but here's the answer I would give, and it goes along with what we were just talking about with the voice in your head is, especially this time of year, the voice in our head tells us one of 2 things. You got to do it 100% or you can't. That's the 2 things in our head. And if you want to read a good book on that, it's called Punch Fear in the Face and Start. Right? It's a pretty good book. But the two voices in our head. So what happens is people go, oh, I got to do this 100%. And they get really committed and they go and they have one bad day. And then the voice reverts to, see, told you, you can't do this. Right? And so we've already covered it, but to answer your question, you know, we've been around for 18 years. We've helped tens of thousands, over 100,000 agents prospect and meet people and create relationships and build a business. We hope you graduate from having to call and make all these contacts. We hope that you build a sphere of influence so big that you can drink margaritas on the beach and referrals just keep coming in. But you got to put in the work and you got to talk to a bunch of people you don't know consistently to build the foundation of that kind of sustainability in your business.
Awesome. So Curtis, somebody out there right now is thinking to themselves, all right, well, I got to check out this, you know, REDX service, etc. What is the process? Who do they reach out to? Where do they go? You know, let's give them the drill down.
Yep. REDX.com, REDX.com, and all the information's there. You can call in and talk to anybody on the staff in any department. They'd be happy to help you and help you get to your next level.
Awesome. All right. So if you haven't already checked out REDX, you got nothing to lose. Just go to REDX.com, check it out, reach out to their staff. I'm an advocate of REDX. So I endorse it. I endorse other companies as well too, you know, just so I could be, you know, fully transparent. And the majority of my top agents are using REDX.com. I am an affiliate, but I don't care about my affiliate code or anything like that. I just care about what's in the best interest of the clients. And I'm like saying it publicly, REDX is one of the best places for you to go. So check it out and talk to whoever you need to talk to, or even if you have a question or you want to connect with one of my clients that use REDX and you want to use them as reference, I'll be more than happy to create that connection as well too. Curtis, thank you very much for being a great guest on the Top Listing Agent show. I appreciate your time, and let's help a bunch of people make big money this year, brother.
That's right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.